So we already made videos talking about each of these guys having leave of absences from their NHL teams, and that was a thing where initially the first player to get the leave of absence, Dube, was doing so under the label of mental health issues, and that I didn't think was peculiar. Eventually, it was given out that we were getting more NHL players like Carter Hart, and then eventually Michael McLeod and Cal Foote, who were each being granted leave of absences along with Alex Formenton in the Swiss League. Now, on January 30th, 2024, we have ourselves the news via Rick Westhead that each of these guys, these 4 NHL players plus Alex Formenton, former NHL player, have been directed to surrender to London police to be charged with SA in connection with an alleged incident that occurred during a 2018 Hockey Canada event. Now, I wanted to go out there and read the article that is on tsn.ca. It's very detailed, so I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and read more about this yourself. There are some words and phrases in here that I can't really put on YouTube because it could damage the standing and visibility of my channel. YouTube doesn't like a lot of the stuff that is talked about in here, so we're going to be using a lot of abbreviations. There's going to be a lot of censoring in this, but for the most part, I think this has been such a big story that if you haven't already seen or have been aware of what's going on, then open up an article, read something about this. It's all over the place because these 5 guys, if everything turns out to be true, which I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying they're getting charged. If everything works out in the ways that we think it might have, then hey, these guys shouldn't have NHL playing careers anymore. So let's go out there and read what Rick Westhead ended up saying. 4 NHL players have been directed to a surrender to police in London, Ontario to be charged with SA in connection with the alleged incident. The players are expected to surrender before the London Police Service holds a press conference on Monday, so a week from now, to update the public on the high-profile case. Lawyers of the 4 players either declined to comment or did not respond to a request for comment. Now, that's 4 of the guys that were involved in this situation. The 5th guy was Ottawa Senators' former player Alex Formenton, who currently plays in Switzerland. And when it comes to Formenton's lawyer, this is the statement made from that party. Police have charged several players, including Formenton, in connection with an accusation made in 2018. Alex will vigorously defend his innocence and asks that people not rush to judgment without hearing all of the evidence. So you could take this comment at face value. It's a lawyer doing what a lawyer does. But at the end of the day, this is one player out of 5 that has been put on a pedestal in the context of this situation's investigation. Take a look at this. Gary Ellis went out there and told TSN in an interview that the players would be photographed, fingerprinted, and directed to sign undertaking not to have contact with the alleged victim, either the first time they report to police or at a subsequent date. Now, the body of this piece afterwards goes over the situation, and it's very detailed, so we're just going to skip over that for now. This is kind of where everything falls into place, though, and the timeline of this situation as well. May 2022, TSN reported Hockey Canada had, without consulting any players involved in the alleged incident, quietly settled a $3.55 million lawsuit brought by the victim against Hockey Canada, the CHL, and 8 unnamed players in connection to the alleged attack. The story led to parliamentary hearings and a maelstrom of public backlash. The NHL and Hockey Canada commissioned investigations, and the London Police in July 2022 said they would reopen their investigations. So 2 months after the fact. In October 2022, there was the 94-page document in court requesting authorization to seek various court orders. In the filing, which was first reported by the Globe, a London police officer wrote that he believed there were reasonable grounds to believe that the 5 members of the World Junior team had committed SA in connection to the hotel incident. The 4 players who have yet to report to police are all 25 years old and have all taken leave of absences from their NHL teams. Now, when it comes to each of these guys, it's hard to really break it away from this situation and start diving into hockey terms right now, because of course this story is much bigger than hockey itself. But at the same time, it does kind of shed some light, I feel, in regards to how some of these contracts were handed out and how their proceedings with their teams could have been handled too. Carter Hart, of course, we recognize as a goaltender, is a good player. Like, he, for the most part, has been all right. But the Philadelphia Flyers had a very interesting situation where they did not sign him to an extension. They didn't want to give him any sort of monetary commitment beyond this year. He's on the final year of a 3-year, $11.9 million contract. Dillon Dube is in the second year of a 3-year contract himself. And then you have Mike McLeod, who only signed a 1-year contract in July of 2023. You could say that for each of these guys, McLeod, Foote, only getting 1-year deals, Carter Hart not getting the extension, was there some sort of a possibility that this charge, this investigation would result in these guys in particular, which is why their teams might not have wanted to give any extra commitment to these players beyond this year? Maybe. I mean, for Alex Formenton in the Swiss League, it was a very cut and dry situation. Like, I think the moment Formenton left the Ottawa Senators, did not get a contract, and then went overseas, I think a lot of people were starting to connect the dots in a way that sort of spelled this outcome being possible. So, with that situation in our minds, with the contract situations of these other guys here also in the foreground, you have to start wondering, was this already an outcome that was thought about and maybe believed in some respect back in the summer? Because during that investigation, I mean, they opened it up July 2022, and over the course of the next few months, we were getting statements from different players from that World Junior team saying, no, I wasn't involved, no, I wasn't in Canada, no, I wasn't a part of the event, no, I was in the NCAA, like stuff like that, right? And because there was sort of an Xing off of each of the guys, okay, not this guy, not that guy, not that guy. These 5 were some of the only names remaining towards the very end that didn't really have themselves like any big statement that was like, yeah, I did not do it, I was not here, I was not. Like, it was all just kind of, if I recall off the top of my head, a lot of like, oh, we'll have no comment on the matter kind of stuff. And that already was seen as somewhat of a red flag, because anyone in those statements over the past 2 years who would not directly outright label their innocence, it would leave reasonable doubt in the minds of readers when it comes to that entire, process of checking off which names were involved or were not involved, and stating their own innocence and giving reasons as to why they were not there. So this is the situation. 5 guys are now charged, and it's the guys that we have all sort of been thinking about the past few days because of all their leave of absences. It all combines into this. So, big shout out over to Rick Westhead. He is probably one of the most important figures in this entire situation in terms of being able to get this news out to the public where it belongs, where we're recognizing that this stuff happens, and some of the people that we watch on TV are the perpetrators of that. We will be paying attention to everything as it continues. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the 5 guys that have been charged in this situation for the Team Canada 2018 incident. And yeah, I hope you didn't enjoy this video, because this was a very bad one and very difficult one to make. But comment section is your floor. Let me know your thoughts about this entire situation. And bye.